Hello everyone, it's Lisa and Craig. I have finally coaxed him in to joining me. No, not quite like that, but I can't say he volunteered though, right?
Kinda did.
So you guys be sure to love on him, encourage him to join me more. Yes. Well, it's been 3 months. So this is our 3-month anniversary of being expats in Panama. Fist bump. Yes. So, I've come with 3 interesting things that we have learned during this period. I got 3 things for you. First of all, thank you so much for subscribing and thank you so much for watching. You've helped us to meet many goals on our channel, and so we appreciate that. And if you've seen any of the other videos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've seen me out there dancing, boots on the ground, all that. So thank you for that. So Spanish, right? So it is kind of cool. What?
Well, I mean, we've been learning Spanish in multiple ways.
Well, the cool thing is that we're immersed. We are in the culture to learn it. However, that doesn't mean that, well, generally people are speaking it, but a lot of people do want to learn English too. So that's kind of a little bit challenging, especially, I think the biggest opportunity to speak Spanish is with Uber drivers, right? To really practice your Spanish, but oftentimes they're really wanting to learn English, so we just have to agree that I'm going to speak Spanish and then you speak English to me. But we have a really fabulous teacher, and I think we're coming along.
Yeah. Definitely more difficult than I initially thought it would be, just to kind of remember some of the phrases, words, and things like that, because
To remember to practice.
I didn't sign up for practice. I just signed up for the classes, okay? Our homework, the variations of different words, I didn't really understand. You could have the same word and change the letter one time, and it means totally something different. So you have to know the context of the verb or the word or whatever you're using. And so we're learning that too, which is kind of very helpful. But it is more difficult than I thought.
And in his defense, though, he took French in like high school. So he was actually the French president of his club, kind of thing. So that part is not unusual for me because I did take Spanish like in high school. So I knew about all the conjugating the verbs and all that. So, challenging, but of course it's going to be challenging learning a new language, right? But it does help to be in this environment while you're learning it. So
I would agree with that, and then just kind of doing whatever you're comfortable with to try and learn it. And that's what I have an app that I'm learning on, also the classes, and then we're immersed in it. So I am surrounded by it, and I would say I am getting better, but not at the pace I'd like to get.
Yeah. Practice. Homework.
Not doing the homework that often and not practicing as much as I do. So, true confession there.
Yes, we're going to do better. So that's the first thing that, we're really impacting us in our 3rd month as expats. But the second thing is, and I know some of my subscribers are going to be so excited that I finally get this because you have been trying to explain this to me, and that is just the extremeness of the tides, like the ocean tides that you witness here in Panama. So I'm always like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Is there a drought? Like all these things. But finally, I think Craig explained it to me, and I finally clicked what everybody's saying, that the difference here of why the tides seem so extreme the difference is in Panama, because of the shape of the country, instead of a one low tide and one high tide a day, they actually have two a day, two low tides and then two high tides daily. And then because of the shape of the country, the low and the high tides are extreme, are very extreme. So you'll see that when you come to visit. And and then beyond that, it is just like every other place because of position of the moon and all that kinds of stuff. But it can be very stark. And like, this isn't our, we've been here 3 months, but we visited a couple times last year, and I noticed it then as well. And you'll see it on some of my videos, especially at the Playa Bonita beach resorts. I highlighted it a lot there. So I am happy to say I finally understand why this is happening.
And then just a couple other differences that I've noticed in the last couple weeks. One, normally you're looking out at the water and it's pretty calm. But about 2 weeks ago, for some reason, I don't know exactly what, but it appeared to like other beaches that I'm familiar with, where you had waves coming in, which was, surprising for me to see. But that was kind of a difference that we saw a couple weeks ago. And then just this Sunday, I think we've had the highest tide in some time here, because none of the areas that we've seen before that had, they were all, filled. The water was beautiful. Just very scenic. Yeah. And this was just Sunday, so
yeah, you'll see that on our bike ride that we did this past Sunday. I did that video. Yeah, makes it so much more beautiful.
That's true.
Because we had not seen it. That area in front of the, I guess that's the old town.
Yeah.
But the third thing, which is why I want you to hang around, to be sure to hang around for, is because of the differences in the driver's license. And Craig experienced this.
What I will say is, when we first started visiting here, the driving style made me reluctant to want to drive here. So I really had no interest in wanting to drive here because of the driving style here. But then I actually talked with some other expats, and I learned a couple things that I thought were important for me in the path that we're going on. One was, on my U.S. driver's license, I would only be able to drive here for up to 90 days. And then after that, I wouldn't be able to drive in Panama. And so at some point, I do plan on driving, renting vehicles, or I don't see me owning something here yet, but anything's possible. But the first thing I kind of learned, that if you're a tourist, you can drive up to 90 days. That's different if you are.
So if you're a tourist, you can drive on your American
U.S. driver's license for up to 90 days. Although you could stay in the country up to 180, you can only drive up to 90 days. Okay. So the second thing is that once you start the visa process, you can no longer drive on your U.S. driver's license. And so that kind of piqued my interest in, if something happens or if I wanted to drive, it might be in my best interest to get a Panamanian driver's license. So that kind of pushed me to go ahead and go through that process. So now I do have a Panamanian driver's license, and the whole process took me about 2 weeks to get it.
Yeah. So he can drive in Panama if he were willing. But that's super important, though. So be sure, if you're interested in that, to look that up yourself. Look up the process, but just know that what he said. The two important things is the idea of, once you start the process of residency, then you can't drive with your American U.S. license any longer. And if you're here for longer than 90 days, you can't drive with your U.S. license either.
Right.
So those are the important takeaways from that.
Right.
So
the other part of that is, since we're on a temporary now, my driver's license are only good as long as my temporary. And once we get our permanent, then I'll have to renew it to a permanent, which is a normal 4-year driver's license if you are under 70 years of age.
Yes.
Over 70, the rules are different. You have to look that up.
So yeah. So these are the things that we have learned this month. Yes.
At least 3 months, I would say.
Yeah, within the 3 months for sure. So yeah, we're 3 months in. 3 months in. So again, thank you for just supporting our channel and tuning in, and be sure to leave me your comments. Let me know what you're thinking. All right.
Ciao.
Craig, right? Yes. All right. Ciao. Hasta luego.